Alright, good morning freelancers! We are back in Anthem guys and today for Icetide discussion of the day. But before we get into it, they just released an update note regarding the Tip of the Iceberg Challenge progression reset during the first 2 weeks of the seasonal event. And of course, the Tyrant Mine is going in rotation soon-ish. And of course, the long-awaited Icetide Mammoth Task Beast, whatever you call it, armor pack is also going in a featured store later on this seasonal event also. I mean, we already seen all the dead mammoth bodies all over the free play. They already been skinned. So they're probably in the process of sewing them together to make these armors. So I will just put the link in the description box below, guys. Before we start, let me make a quick disclaimer that these are just my opinion as a player. And anything I say and you don't like, you can always click that dislike button 2 times and maybe one click for the like if you agree. Now, for the eyesight discussion, you can always comment down below what you think or what's your opinion regarding the eyesight event. But for me, I'm putting this event in 5 categories. One is being the content, loot, gameplay, challenges, and rewards. So let's start with the obvious one. We already talked about these during our PTS Icetide that they will be removing the Cataclysm map. So there is no new content in this seasonal event whatsoever. There's no new weapons, no new guns, or no new factions. So what's new in this season event is your gear score, but everything else are the same. They're the same gears and the same weapons, just different gear score. So let's go to a loot, and the loot right now is great, guys. For me at least, it's been dropping left and right. Of course, the experience varies for each of us. Seasonal store legendary war chest from universal legendary war chest to your Javelin specific legendary war chest. This is also new in this eyesight. It just came out during this seasonal event, so I'm happy with that. They came out with it. I've been waiting for it since Season of Skull. So the only thing about this legendary war chest that I'm having an issue with is the legendary component war chest, which has only been dropping universal components, and a lot of people saying that it only meant to drop universal component. But if you guys are looking for the specific javelin components, for some reason I only get it in the free play tomb. You can go on the far left corner of the tomb of goddess, and that's where you can find your legendary components. But this tomb drops 2 types of legendary. One is your legendary component specific javelin, and also legendary weapon. So just be careful when you do it. So now we're jumping into gameplay, guys. So gameplay, there are 2 types of gameplay for this season. Some are in free play, and of course your seasonal event strongholds. So let's start with the free play. There are 2 events in free play. One is your coolant farming. So the coolant farming is somewhat similar to your shrine event from your previous season of Skull. You gather this one and then you put it to there, which kind of make you move slower when you're carrying it. So the concept is about the same. And of course, the new one is the trial race, which is also fun. It got me engaged all throughout. I just wish though that they can take 5 seconds off of the timer, especially when using a ranger or colossus, because it's just barely enough time to beat the timer, guys. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. I've seen people already down with this challenge. But, at least I don't need to do all these crazy, movements to beat the timer, like dashing, do a melee, do a jump, all that stuff. And then I end up hitting a wall. and there goes my time. Now for the stronghold, it's nice to get high score and earn more crystals, but do we really need to move things around all the time? Like, your gold note multiplier and grab it collectible spawn location. They always moving. Every time you go in there, they're always in a different spot. Besides you're worrying about your survivability, enemies shooting at you, you also need to look for them. And of course for the multiplier and for spawning the boss, you always want to do that early so you can get that multiplier before you kill those enemies. And you know what? The worst out of the three strongholds at the moment is the Temple of Scar. It seems like they have unlimited spawn area for the gold note multiplier and the grab it location. So I don't know. I got mixed opinion about it. Sometimes I want to get a high score when doing the Stronghold seasonal run, and sometimes I just want to get it over with, get some points, get my alliance score up so I can get higher coin rewards after a week. So for the challenges compared to the previous season of Scout challenges, I think they're all doable. It's fair. It's very engaging when it comes to, like I said, the trial race. So for the rewards, true challenges are great. So like I said, during the first 2 week, they reset the challenges progression, especially with the tip of the iceberg. I was disappointed, but then later on I found out that they also removed the time lock out of the tip of the iceberg 2 challenge, and for that I unlocked all the masterwork armor sets right away. So at the end I was happy with it, even though I have to redo it all over again. So for the rewards through seasonal store, there's really nothing new in there when it comes to your ornamental armor sets or emotes, wraps, all that stuff. And all of these that we see there are from your previous Cataclysm event. So I mean, I don't mind them putting it there, at least for the newer player. They can have the chance to acquire them, or for the people that missed them the first time, this second time around they can also get them. But at least they can put something new there for the older players that are in this game from the start. So anyway guys, for the content I'll give it a 0. For the loot is great, I'll give it a 1. For the gameplay, it's a hit and miss for me, maybe a 0.5. And for the challenges, I think the challenges is very nice and great, so I'll give it a 1. For the rewards through your challenges is great, through the seasonal store is not so much, so I'll give it a 0.5. So my overall score for this is 3 out of 5. So anyway guys, these are just my opinion as a player. I'm just expressing my thoughts, and it's not about giving a score to these kind of updates, but instead how I look at it is how much time or how much fun I'm having while I play these updates. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, have a good day, and bye bye guys.